Alright guys, so we're going to do an unwrapping tutorial today. So we're going to do a really basic model inside of 3ds Max. We're going to bring that model into 3DCoat, and then we are going to texture it in Photoshop, bring it into Max again for rendering. That's the whole process we're going to follow. So research and reference is what I always say to go for first. You need reference for your models to look good. You need reference for your textures to look good. And in order to do that, you literally have to just Google things and find a picture, or several if you can. So I just found a really basic picture of this knife, and that's what we're going to be using today. Then the next step is to model it, obviously. The step after that is to texture it, because you can't texture it without the model. The next step is lighting, and the final one is rendering. I think those two kind of make sense as to why they're in that order. And without further ado, we'll get started. So I'm going to check the properties of this, grab its height and width, 400 by 600. You have to invert it for Max, because when you make a plane in Max, its length is actually the height of this image. So 400 by 600, which is not a very high quality image. And then we can just drag that on there. Awesome. I'm just going to drag you over here. And there we go. Now I'm just going to model this in a really quick fashion. I'm not going to walk you through it. I'm just going to do a time lapse. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, so now that we're done with this knife, we're going to bring it into 3DCoat. And the thing with 3DCoat is when I bring in an OBJ into 3DCoat, it triangulates my mesh. So because of that, I'm going to export an FBX. So I'm going to go to File, going to go to Export. I'm going to export knife.fbx. And we are going to apply the Turbo Smooth. I think you have to turn that off in order for it to apply the Turbo Smooth. Whatever. Then I'll open up 3DCoat. Oh, that's a cool picture. Awesome, free trial. Just got it today because I don't generally use this. UV matte mesh, and we're going to grab our knife. It takes a second because it is set up that way. Also, you can see you can give it 3ds Max as a setting here for the normal map preset. And then texture width and height, that's 2048. That means it's a 2K texture. You can also grab This would be a 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K, and 16K texture. Anything less than 2K is pretty unacceptable now that it's the year that it currently is. So at least 2K, if not higher. And yeah, you just click on OK. And it should bring in our model. Awesome. It's triangulated. So I guess it's 3ds Max that does that then. So I'm going to actually undo what I did. I'm going to File, Export, and I'm still going to name it Knife because I deleted the old one. And I'm going to turn on that Turbo Smooth instead of turn it off. And now when I open up 3DCoat, ooh, I like that a lot too. Okay, free trial, UV map, this guy, open. All the settings are the same. Okay. Hey, there we go. Okay, so it didn't triangulate it because 3DCoat isn't the one triangulating it, it's Max. All right, so I misremembered that. So if anyone is unclear about this, I don't know 3DCoat, but I'm going to teach you. So we're going to clear clusters and seams because I remember Mel saying that it has been 3-4 years since I took 3DCoat. So lots of fun. I'm going to go to Edge Loop. Can I grab Edge Loops? I cannot. Okay, but this is no biggie. This is like huge size faces. Everything's fine. And for anyone that's not sure, you don't have to have your Turbo Smooth on before you get your unwrap. You can generally do the unwrap first, which makes it so much easier. Okay. Cool. So oh, not quite done. There we go. Cool. So now we still need to go around the insides of these. This is going reasonably quickly because we're working with our low poly. Now imagine you brought in your high poly and you tried to select all the faces all the way around the model. That would be a huge pain in the butt. You would not want to do that. It would not be fun. Don't do it. Okay. I missed one, didn't I? There we go. Oh, I don't want that. You can hold control and grab any seams that you accidentally had. Hey, look at that. That worked. Awesome. You can tell it worked because it changed all to one color. And if I hover over it, does it show me the does it not show me the preview? Where's the preview? Windows panels? Holy cow. Where's the preview? Hey, there we go. Oh, what a pain in the butt. Okay, but either way, we've got that. We can kind of see here that it's unwrapped just fine. We're going to go down to the bottom. We're going to cut these guys up so that they have like flat faces. So this right here should be one flat face. And I don't think we actually cut that up. There we go. Awesome. So now it's one flat face. We have this guy, probably cut him here, then here, and then here. Reasonably flat. All right, we're going to go around the bottom. Oh, Control Z to just undo stuff if you want to. You don't have to control click it. And basically, for because this is a tutorial to kind of walk through what I'm doing here, I'm trying to make it so that each face is reasonably non-curved. So like this is a bit of a curve, but it's reasonably flat. So like if you looked at it from this angle, that's kind of flat. It's good enough. This one, not super flat. I should probably cut it up there and then get rid of this seam here. And then that's reasonable. That's pretty reasonable, and that's pretty reasonable. I think this one might be better. actually. I think the angle like this is better than the angle like this, but it might just be the same angle. I don't know. But either way, all those faces look reasonably flat. The bottom is all, you can see when I hover over it, you can see over here in the preview that this looks pretty good as an unwrap. Nothing looks bad. It's all gray. If it's super stretched or squashed, it'll show up blue or red, and that's a bad thing. Like earlier in the preview, you can see all this red. Here, all this looks good. All this looks good. It's the edge now that's really causing us trouble. So we're going to go through and unwrap this bad boy. So I'm going to just cut once here on this little guy. Come on. Let me select the little guy. There we go. And then I'm going to Control Z because I think I clicked again. But now we're just going to go all the way around to here because honestly, none of that's going to have any real unwrapped anything on it. That doesn't matter. That's so small. If we put this in a game or a film or anything, this would never get seen. It's so small. It doesn't matter that it's an unwrapped piece of garbage. Over here though, this part could get some love. So this is really, really flat all the way along. So we're just going to do this. And there we go. We've got one flat face right here, goes all the way, and that's totally fine. We're going to unwrap another reasonably flat face right here. And then let's see, we've got this. We'll give that its own face. We don't have to, but that's fine. Come around here, give it there, and then we'll stop there. And I think that's it is most certainly curved, but it's flat enough that there's no real distortion between the map up in the preview. You can see it here when I hover over it. Between the map and this, there's no real messed up perspective with the curve that it has. Then that leaves this weird guy. So I'm confused where all of this red is coming from because our preview, like everything should be good in here now. Unwrap. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Awesome. Okay. Fixed it. All right. We're going to drag this out and this out. That should really be docked in there, but I don't know how to do it. So we're just going to leave it like this. Now in here is where we do all of our unwrapping of the actual thing. So I'm imagining that this one island here, or this one box is our unwrap because it fitted all there. So that's fine. We're going to, honestly, this isn't the best. Let's see. Do I go to faces now? Grab faces? Or how does this work? I don't know what face I have here. Can I move it? That's scale. I don't want to scale it. I want to move it. How do I move these things? Hey, okay, okay. I got it. I got it. I got it. So I'm holding shift to select multiple. And I'm grabbing the ring there to grab. Okay. How do I see what I have selected? Like, seriously? I want to see what this stuff is on the model. How do I tell? I think it's this. This looks selected, right? Yeah, it's this. Okay, so why is this all weird? Did I not chop any of this up? Oh, no, I didn't. It's all yellow. Okay. That would be our problem. That would be a big problem. So I'm gonna just chop this guy up. I did that awfully, by the way. Don't ever do that. What did I do? I gave it two cuts where it shouldn't. Yeah, that. And I'm gonna give you that and that. And that's good enough. Awesome. So now, oops. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. Oops. We're going to, again, we're going to go through and, what is it? What did we do? Was it unwrap? Yeah, okay. So that packed it all up. And then I think this really long thing here, this is the if I click and drag around, this is that. Yeah, that. Okay. So that's fine. Everything else is pretty reasonable, I think. Let's see. If I were to grab this island, I don't like that I have to grab things like this, but all right. Learning new software sucks. That's all there is to it. We're going to deselect that and drag this over. Awesome. Deselect these guys as well, please. I said please. Can I just select something? Okay, there we go. Select this, then go through and select it all. And again, I'm holding down Shift to select multiple things at once, or multiple faces, or however you want to call that, however you want to say it. Can I rotate you better, please? So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a square box, so I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't need to be rotated. But this is pretty much how you unwrap things. You should probably pack it better than I did, but that's it. You literally move it around, then you choose where it should go. And the thing about unwrapping, guys, is you need to pay attention to how much space you're giving it. So this thing here, I can't make this much bigger unless I split it up, which I can do. I can go through here and let's say I grab this face and I give it, come on. I'm going to grab the handle and drag it off from the knife. But I can't do that without giving it an extra seam. Oops. I hate that. I wish I could just unwrap in face instead of in edges, but that doesn't seem to work. So I could slice right here along the top and bottom and then have my knife bit scaled bigger so that it has more room and my handle bit scaled bigger so it has more room. That's what I think I'm going to do. There we go. Now you can see how I can take the knife and scale it up a bit. You kind of see how I did that. And if you were going to do that, you'd probably want to take this side of the blade and do the same kind of thing. So if I took this over here, and then let's say no, I don't want to rotate him at all. I just want to scale him negative. Can I do that? Can I scale him the other direction? Nope. Okay, cool. Can I flip him? Like, I don't understand. Okay, if I can't do that, then I guess I'll just leave it as is. I'll drag these out of the way here. And as long as things aren't on top of each other, it's not a big deal. I'm going to do that and then drag this one out of here so it's not on top. So literally nothing can overlap, but as long as nothing's overlapped and everything's reasonably the same size, you should be good. So now both of my blades are about the same size as each other. That's fine. And my handle's there, and I have a lot of extra wasted space, but I don't care. This is just a tutorial, and I've already spent 2 hours on it. So file, make sure you save your UVs. So I'm just gonna, oops, no, that would save the 3DCoat file if I hit save. We need to apply UV set, and we're going to click OK. And it says this can't be undone, but it can be redone. So like you can apply it again and overdo what you did last time. So it's not a big deal. Now that it's applied, we're going to export objects and textures. Export our geometry. So we're going to export this knife again. If we were to just export out the map, the unwrapped version of the knife in Max won't accept that map. That's not how things work. You need to export this geometry that knows how it is unwrapped. So we have our output mesh. We're going to save it on the desktop as an FBX. Knife 2. We're putting it on the desktop, not the downloads. Awesome. Now, we don't have any textures really. If we did, I guess we can do. How do we export the whatever it is I want a PNG, not a TGA, Taga, whatever you call it. No, I don't want to tile my UVs. Texture preview path for textures. Put it on the desktop. Um, that's fine. I don't care. Apply scale. I don't care. I'm looking for exporting the like just the normal, the map. Whatever. We'll export it and see what happens. Okay, so color, nothing. Normal, obviously nothing. But we have our knife to model. So that's unwrapped. But we need to export this mesh or this map. How do we export our map? Let's see. Don't export the geometry anymore, just the textures. We need no color. Don't care about the metalness. I don't care about the normal. Sync layers with ext editor. Okay. Oh, I guess that just opens Photoshop for us, so that's pretty sick. Okay, guys, so that's pretty much all we need to do is we exported a model from here. We went to export, we exported our geometry. And then once we do that, we just go up to edit and then sync layer with external editor. And that will automatically open up the UV in Photoshop for you. So I'm going to make a new layer on the very bottom. Give that like a brown. I'll give it a dark gray. And see if, bam, we can see our stuff. So now all we need to do is figure out what color we want this to be. So I'm going to make another one. I'm going to name this one color. This is the one that matters, right? So I'm going to give it like a nice light gray material. I only have to paint where the unwrapped parts are. I don't have to waste time going anywhere else, even though it would waste less time if I used the paint bucket. But there we go. That's all good. If I wanted to, I could do like a nice light material along the sharp edge, and I should have had a, there we go. If we wanted to do something like this, bro, why is this so big? Now, I like purple, and I really want to prove to you guys that this is working, so we're just going to write out knife. Keep in mind, I am writing with the mouse, so don't make fun of my handwriting, okay? And then we can do like a little squiggly bit here if you wanted. So everybody should understand what they're doing with 204 stuff to, manage Photoshop, how to make things work right. And that's kind of what we just did here. It doesn't look the best, but it works. And I'm going to actually put purple on the edge of that knife too. The sharp edge that nobody should really see. It might stand out if it's purple. So there we go. We're going to save this out as a PNG. We're going to put it on the desktop. And I don't care that it's called layers. It doesn't really matter. And I'm not going to save it because I'm a pleb. All right. Now I'm actually going to close this version of Max and open up a new one. And we're going to import our new knife, the one that we got from 3DCoat, and our texture. All right. So very easy to import things into Max. If you don't know, you just drag it in and click import. Awesome. Where are you at? All right. So we've got a low poly knife here. That's fine. Oops. Oh my goodness, I've already forgotten how to use Max now. Okay. So low poly knife looks good. Awesome. Now, because this is already unwrapped, you don't have to use the unwrap UVW or whatever, the thing here. I hate it. It's not fun. It works just fine. So anybody who tells you it doesn't is lying, but it's not fun to use. Then we have layers. I'm literally just going to drag that on and bam. Because it's unwrapped, everything goes to where it should. Everything looks good. It is doing exactly what it's supposed to. And that is how you get a texture in here on Max. Now, I am going to actually render this out in like a professional manner, even though the texture looks like garbage. So we're just going to set up a professional scene. Awesome. Now, remember, if I hit M, I'll open up my materials. I can give a really um, rough shader to this. So I'm going to go down to standard surface inside of the Arnold tab. Make sure it's in the Arnold tab, and then go down to standard surface in under surface. And make sure your color is like I like gray, honestly, as my background color. And I'm going to drag this on here. All right. Now, in specular, if you bring up the specular roughness, not the base roughness, you don't want to touch the base roughness. In specular, under roughness, if you bump that all the way up on your background object, makes it much better for a background object. Now, we're just going to bring our light a little closer, bring it down a bit. I'm going to give this thing its own material as well, so we're going to go down, get another standard surface. And this material we can give to the knife. Now, looks wonky, actually, from a distance. That's weird. But all we're going to do is we're going to scroll down till we see maps. So base color, no map. We're going to go down to bitmap. Where's just normal bitmap? There it is. Bitmap. Click OK. And we're going to drag in our layers. There it is. Now it's got our color on it. That's good. Now we're also able to change a bunch of other stuff now. So let's go up to this right here where it says go to parent, and that'll bring up the stuff we saw before we added the bitmap. Now, you can add a bunch of masks. So if you think of a mask as like a black and white image of where something should be or shouldn't be, and you gave metalness something with black and white, and you made like this section white and this section black, it would make this non-metal, it would make this metal. So that's kind of how those maps work, and you want to use those whenever you can. So I'm going to go over to metalness, and I'm just going to bring up metalness for the whole object up to 1. And now it's metal. Roughness, or base color, I'm going to bring all the way up. And under specular roughness, I am going to bring that up a bit too. Now you can see that's what it should look like in the preview. And let's try rendering our guy here. Right now, so that's not perfect. Also, I think the roughness could come down a bit. And I'm just going to duplicate this light. Holding shift and dragging it away. And I'm actually going to make it brighter now, if I can. I cannot. That is the max brightness, which means our scene is a bit too large. Quite a bit too large. All right, I'm just going to grab everything with Control A and just scale the whole thing down. And that'll help with the lighting issues. We'll make it super bright now, though. All right, so I'm going to set a camera up, or actually, I'll just set this location to be it. So we're going to put our knife here. We're going to turn this on to this location, and then now I'm never going to look at it from there again. Awesome. We're going to go to perspective. We're going to go to default and edged faces and find our stuff. Is it in the center? Is it too big? Is it too small? I can't find it. T for top. F for front. A, there it is. Then P for perspective. Okay. Now we can try to render our stuff because I locked it to the view that I had active, which was that one. So now no matter where I move around in this scene, when I hit render, it will. Okay, so I'm going to turn this guy down here. We're going to give him like, take off a few numbers, just replace it with a 5. And then this guy as well, we'll also turn this down. All right, render. Give both of them a few extra zeros. So this light just has awful positioning. I'm going to drag it somewhere over there. Maybe up a bit. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you do it. This is our final product. It's not textured well, but it is textured. It is unwrapped just fine. And that is how you get color onto your objects. Any questions or anything, always reach out to Marty or myself. I am that tutor guy that's in the Discord. You can always private message me or message Marty. You know what to do. So that's it. That's how we do it. I hope you guys enjoyed.